Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, June 24th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. A couple things real quick. First off, if you'd like to make a request, just comment down below the ticker symbol and I'll do my best to cover that in a future video. Second, the candles that you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then finally, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, NVDA, and the pullback here continues. And now I want to, just first off, set up some context. If you care about the big picture point of view, everything is still perfectly fine. You can see right here, the overall trend is up. There's been plenty of pullbacks along the way. So it's not like there's anything crazy or out of the normal going on here. So big picture wise, everything is still perfectly fine. Now, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, maybe you bought right there and you're looking to buy and sell within several minutes, well, then yeah, from that angle, things are looking a little bit more shaky. But from the technical point of view, I just want to make some updates here. So the first key update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. And if you watch videos in the past, you hopefully remember me talking about 129.80 as a support. But with the gap down through there today, you would expect it to act as resistance. And sure enough, price bounced upwards. And then you can see right around that red line, especially right there, got rejected right at that before getting pushed back down. So if there is any sort of attempted recovery, public enemy number one in the near term going to be 129.80 as that main area of resistance, followed by the purple line right there, the 50 period moving average, which you can see was acting as resistance back there on Thursday. In terms of areas of support, very straightforward. A lot of eyeballs going to be watching that pink line down there. That is a very well-known, very famous 200 period moving average, currently valued at, we'll call it 123.40. So keep an eye on that from the bigger picture standpoint and the key level of support. But yeah, pullback continues, but to be fair, NVIDIA has gone on a huge monstrous mode. So you had to think that a pullback was coming. It has arrived. Now it's just a question of how deep does the pullback get. Next one, AREB, absolutely beautiful pattern here. So as I draw this in play, please into place here, please realize I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is some sort of great discovery or special talent that I have. I assure you, a lot of people are drawing something very similar to what I'm doing here. And I say all that because, let me change that to green to represent support. Because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movements. And as far as this pattern is concerned, I mean, it stands out like a sore thumb, which is a good thing. So to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance part of the pattern. We have our support part of the pattern. We have the huge explosion right there. And then for you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visually appealing, put the golf hole down there. So this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. Again, no such thing as a guarantee, but it is more than plausible to think that if the price comes up here and pushes up through there, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. So if you like bull pennant patterns, you like penny stocks, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, NXL, and overall, interesting situation here because it showed that it can move and move very quickly today. I had that big 30-minute surge right there and then did pull back. But with the pullback, it's not like it's a crash or anything like that. So that's what makes it interesting, because if you do believe that the overall trend is still in the bull's favor, then this is actually going to be a nice little opportunity here on the pullback here. So in terms of areas of support, can change that to green for support. Next key level to watch very closely, going to be right there at the $1.64 mark. This is just a classic example of, you can see this former area of resistance now acting as support right there. So continue to watch that. From the overarching standpoint, just watch out purple line there, 50 period moving average. Keyword being moving, because I get it, it's completely irrelevant right now given how far it's down here. But as time goes by, that line will move itself higher and higher, get more and more relevant. So you're going to want to keep a close eye on that. And then in regards to areas of resistance, if this thing tries to work itself back upwards, key initial point right there around the $2.17 mark. So overall, though, like I said, if you like these circumstances where you get a nice surge and then you get a pullback starts to go sideways, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, NKLA, and this will mean a little bit more to those that watched the previous video, but if you did, you know that I talked about that resistance line right there and got exactly what I was talking about. Came up, broke through that red line, and actually made a very nice move. Problem is now it is starting to roll back over, but there is still an opportunity for this to show some signs of progress. So let me get rid of that. And let me show you why progress is important and why I would consider this level right here at 34 cents to be a must-hold level. And I'm not saying this will occur, but just for example's sake, if the price were to come down to here and then break down below there, what is that doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price right back to where it started. Or said another way, that would imply that the price made a nice bounce and then went right back to where it started. Not exactly a sign of genuine power. But to be fair, nothing can go straight up. So if the price comes down here and behaves like this and starts to curl back upwards, now all of a sudden, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have those lows right there. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, now you have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's the name of the game. That's what a truly strong move is going to do. It's going to show signs of progress. And again, in this situation, the quote unquote sign of progress at 34 cents. So going into next week, can 34 cents hold or not? We'll see what happens. Next one, ticker symbol MBIO. And started off today actually very, very impressively. Early today had that surge and then went all the way up there. Unfortunately, that ran out of momentum and back down it went. But, it didn't put any sort of significant new lows or anything like that. Now we have a couple of well-defined breakout points moving forward. And this is one of these areas where, again, you got to think a lot of people are going to be watching right here at 86 cents. Going through the history, you can see right there, behaved as resistance, and then that's where it got rejected from today. So while that doesn't guarantee anything, certainly makes it more than plausible that if the price can curl its way back up to that area and get a break up through there, that break in and of itself of 86 cents could realistically generate that much more upside buying pressure and volume. So keep an eye on that as the main area of resistance. And then as far as supports are concerned, key level to watch right down here at this point of the 50-cent mark. And going through the history of things, you can see right here, acted as, nope, you can't see that because it's behind my ugly mug. There we go. You can see right there, acted as support. And then once again, that's where it acted as support today. So in some senses, really just a sideways channel pattern. Going back to past couple of days, you can see it's bouncing back around. So really just a question of who's ultimately going to win this battle. Do the bulls win with the break to the upside or the bears win with a break to the downside? We'll see what happens early next week. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying and want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And this is going to go pretty quick because not a whole lot to update. As nothing has really changed from a bigger picture standpoint, meaning 185.30 still the key level of resistance. I mean, I suppose you could add another little level of resistance right there around the 84-ish mark if you wanted to, but I just don't want to have a million lines all over the place, so I want to try to keep this as decluttered as possible. You could also just factor in that purple line right there, so maybe some little minor updates, but again, from the bigger picture standpoint, still all about 185.30 as that key level of resistance. And then in terms of levels of support, let me just bring this down so you can, keep perspective here. Nothing has changed, assuming you've watched past videos. Still all about the pink line right there. Now, the good news is the price has not only been able to stay above that level, the price really hasn't even come that close to even testing the level. So from that angle alone, good to see. But yeah, you can see through the history of things here, whenever the price has gotten down there, it's provided good solid support. Does not mean that it'll happen again, but it also makes it logical. So you're not crazy to think, if the price goes down to that pink line, I'd be interested in buying because 3 times before the price has gone up, bounced from that level. That's totally a valid thought process. Not guaranteed to happen. Those don't exist. But nobody could accuse you of being some sort of degenerate where you're just behaving randomly. No, there's nothing random about that. There's some good logic behind it. So keep an eye on those levels, and we'll see how Tesla continues to play out next week. Next one here, NVD, and we have a very interesting scenario here headed into next week, and that's what a watch list is all about, finding unique, finding interesting situations, and not rushing out and randomly buying stuff, but at least watching it. So maybe you don't find this unique, but I find it a very, very interesting situation because now for those of you that like breakouts, yeah, unfortunately, you have missed the breakout because as I speak right now, this thing is broken out, and you can see this green candle is going. But this does still transition to a very exciting question, and that question is this. Breakout has occurred. Is this the start of something even bigger? Now, to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this is a faulty breakout and it's going to roll back over. But that is a two-sided coin because, maybe this is the start of something bigger, and this thing's just getting ready to rock and roll and keep on, going through this beast move that it's been doing over the past couple of days. So either way you look at it, yes, the breakout has occurred, but at least you get to ask that question, is this the start of something bigger? Because think about it. It makes no sense to ask that question if nothing has even happened. But something has happened here. You got the breakout. So yeah, is this breakout just getting started? Let's see what next week has to offer. Next one, PLTR, and the pullback continues and has gotten deeper. Again, from the big picture standpoint, everything is still perfectly fine. And things I would say start to become not fine in regards to that pink line, but I'll talk about that here in just a few moments. But we'll zoom in here. I'm actually going to get rid of those lines up there. They serve their purpose for now, and we don't need clutter and confusion everywhere. So yes, on that note of the pink line, that is certainly going to be the key level of support, just like it's been on other stocks. And as you were just seeing, the price has had pullbacks, but it's been able to stay above that pink line, for all of them except for down here. So yes, that is why that would be one major difference in terms of the uptrend is, as you just saw, the price has been doing a fantastic job of staying above it. So if the price were to fall below that pink line there, again, I'm not going to say that means it's guaranteed ruined, but things start to change. The conversation starts to change into, okay, have the bulls truly lost control? So definitely pink line, very, very important moving forward from the support side of things. In terms of areas of resistance, if there is any sort of bounce, just keep a close eye on that purple line up there, currently valued right at the $25 mark. And the sooner the price can get above that purple line, the better the overall trend is going to start to appear, as that will suggest that the trend has essentially not completely recovered, but recovered in a significant way. Next, AAPL, Apple, and overall not a whole lot to report, but still a lot of people talking about it, as you still have the overarching key levels here, which, with this last 30 minutes here, trying to break down a little bit, but going into next week, key level of support right there at 207.30, which I talked about in a previous video, so you're going to want to keep a close eye on that. And then what I find a little bit more interesting, especially because it's Apple, a lot of people watching it, you got to think a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there. So from people trying to play and catch some sort of, reversal or bounce, you got to think that a lot of people are watching that level and saying, if it comes up there and actually breaks through that level, that's a buy signal for me. And sometimes that's all it takes is a tactical buy signal. And then people just buy just because, well, they're supposed to buy. So those self-fulfilling prophecies. So keep an eye on that trend line right there is that initial area of resistance. If the price does push up through there, then, much more important and key level of resistance will be that purple line, but one hurdle at a time. But wow, as I speak, look at this. This thing is just sinking further and further down. So who knows? Maybe this 207.30 is closer than what it appears. But if this breakdown does continue into next week, 207.30 definitely going to be a very important level. Next one, TQQQ, a very popular ETF out there, so I like to keep an eye on it. But with that being said, not a whole lot to report, especially when you factor that into what I talked about in the previous video. So I'll go through it very quickly because, like I said, literally the levels I talked about still being respected. So I, in the previous video, talked about 74.25 being a key level of support. And wouldn't you know it, hung around that level several times today, and to give credit where credit's due, did a fantastic job of holding strong. So 74.25, still that main area of support. And then on the flip side of things, the area of resistance, I never, I guess, hit it exactly today, but got somewhat close a little bit right there. But regardless, as you can see back here from Thursday, that was an area that rejected the price. So 75.85 right now, that current key level of resistance is the value of that 50 period moving average. So essentially, basically kind of entering into a bit of a sideways channel over the past couple of days. So really the first key question on my mind is, how long is this sideways channel going to last? Is this going to become a chop fest where it just goes back and forth for the next few days? We'll have to sit back and see how early next week starts to unfold. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw and want to learn more, then definitely go get signed up for that free live webinar next week. It'll be Thursday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. When I say live, I truly mean it. So bring your questions and answers because there will be a question and answer session, and I'd be happy to answer whatever you have. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I'm now looking at the 4-hour time frame. So each of these represents 4 hours instead of 30 minutes. And that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7, and I want this analysis to remain relevant all weekend long. And by using the 4-hour time frame, we can do that. So question number one, you're going to need to ask yourself. So let's just assume you're watching this on Sunday afternoon. Question number one to ask yourself is, where is the price at relative to 63,500? So far, so good. I've been talking about this and the power of charts. Price came down here. And like I said, so far, so good. 3 candles in a row. It found some support. And as I speak right now, a little bit of a green candle. So we'll see if this can hold. But that's where everything needs to start off. Where is the price at relative to 63,500? If you are answering the question that the price is down below that level, now I realize it's getting harder to see here, but it's been a long time since the price has been down around this area. So the next key level to keep an eye on is going to be down there at 62 or 60,200. So in other words, if you're saying actually, Clay, the price is down below 63,500, okay, where is the price at relative to 60,200? Now, I highly doubt you're going to be answering the question that the price is down below that level, but if you are, that would be telling you it's a very, very bearish weekend. Now, if the price is anywhere in this area, don't get me wrong, it's a bearish weekend. But anything down below that level right there, that would be an extremely terrible weekend for Bitcoin. Now, on the flip side of things, maybe you're saying, well, Clay, no, the price is still above 63,500. The next immediate question would be, okay, well, where's the price at relative to that purple line? Is it still below it? If it is, well, then that's okay. That would be some sort of consolidation, meaning the price is chopped around, something like that. Now, if you're saying, actually, Clay, the price is above that level, well, how far above it? The further up above that purple line, the more strong the weekend has become, because that would imply that not only has this bounce continued, but it's actually also been able to break up through that level. So that would be telling you Bitcoin having a very, very bullish weekend. So ask yourself through those questions, keep your eyes on those levels, and that'll keep this analysis relevant all weekend long. So as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader, go get signed up for this free live webinar, because what you're learning about can and definitely should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin too. So like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment, tell me what you traded today, give me your watch list for next week. Or like I said earlier, if you have a request for a future analysis, just leave that down in the comment section. So thanks for watching. Go get signed up for that free class and have a great weekend.